think that'll work.
Yep, that's actually perfect.
All right, cool. And chat room, I sound okay to y'all. I'm not too loud or anything.
Yeah, because I know when he does that, it adjusts the sound on their side too.
Okay, I get enough.
Okay, we
Okay,
fine.
signal. All right, let's do it. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Test Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Saturday, doing some feedback. You know what we do, guys. We listen to what you have to say throughout the week because you've listened to what we had to say, and it's only fair that we kind of exchange some thoughts back and forth. You cared enough to write in, you cared enough to, leave us voicemails, emails, and vote in the polls, and we care enough to let you know how we think of what we think about that. The,
Mm-hmm.
the official weapon of the show is
The taser.
an unofficial sport,
Football.
a bullet ball extreme, and hopefully, if everything goes right with travel plans, tomorrow we'll actually be in person, me and you. So we'll get to see each other for the first time in about a month. So that'll be cool.
Yay!
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it then. Let's start the show how we always start it for the feedback show. We want to shout out the people that took the time to shout us out. And by shout us out, I mean give us some money, okay? Because that's what it's all about here, the dollar bill, y'all. So thank you.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Tiger Tips.
Yes. That's right. New day, new pay. Let's talk about these ends that y'all sent us. Tiffany B hit us with that recurring donation. Thank you, Tiffany B. Charlotte Wong Esquire, please say the Esquire. Palmetto Stone Magic hit us with that money. Lindsay B hit us with them dollars. That dollar make me holler. Mr. Span from the Span Report podcast, or I think he changed the name of it actually. I was listening to the latest episode. He took a break and he's back. But
He's back now.
yeah, but definitely he always come through and support us. So definitely want to give him that shout out and welcome back to the microphone. Alfonso M, J, Full, Jasmine J, Autumn W, James C, David C, no relation, Latricia C. Oh, these C's is out of control. Okay.
They seeing us now. They seeing us with the dollars.
Overseas, I mean, there's a lot of C's going on.
I mean, y'all better get together, other alphabets.
They seasoning us, okay? Dr. Professor Bambi, Unbridled Love, Kevin W, Falcons Diva, and lastly, Jason F came through. Appreciate all y'all with me, okay? And play me on out, choir. Fucking them drums up. Okay, we got 5-star reviews. I think we got one new one, but maybe it's two. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna read both.
I'm about to say it's okay if it's a repeat.
Better to read it twice than not at all.
Agreed.
Okay, hallelujah. That's a word. Excellent. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Excellent podcast. Hey y'all, this is a consistently wonderful and funny podcast. I just got COVID for the first time.
Oh no.
I feel okay. Shouts out to the booster, but my pride is a little hurt. I've been masking regularly and have generally been safe these 3 years, but it finally got me. Shaking my head, these new variants are hella contagious. Oh well.
Right.
Just wanted to tell someone Happy New Year, awkward CC. So I'm sorry that happened to you, awkward CC, but I mean, one, you had a long run. And you're right, these new variants, man, all these headlines are just them interviewing doctors being like, everybody gonna get it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of doctors are saying. A lot of doctors was like, you can only run for so long. It's like eventually it's gonna get you. Like the boogeyman, it's gonna get you. It's gonna sneak up on you and be like, gotcha, bitch.
The variance is coming for all y'all asses. I'm like, oh Lord, no, I didn't want this smoke.
Right. I didn't ask for none of this.
Right. But hey, it is what it is.
Right.
You fought the good fight. That's all you can do. And I think for the most part, that's why we stay boosted.
Correct.
As the mic starts to slip. All right, cool, no problem. But yeah, that actually sounds better.
Yeah, like I said, it sounded like you weren't talking into the mic.
Well, the mic just started leaning. I guess it. I don't know, Karen. You know what? Let's not question what's going on right now. It's working.
You do
So
sound
eventually, when this mic is just hanging sideways, I would know it just broke. But yeah. So I did, but I do think that and for the record, I had to set up everything again with the studio. We did a sound check last night, but I guess you know, we're
between
still
last night
figuring
and
it out.
today. The system was like, you know
Yeah,
what?
this definitely sounds better. I'm gonna leave it like this. But yeah, yeah, you fought a good fight. I'm sorry you got it, but I'm glad you boosted and I'm glad you're doing okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm vaccinated and I'm boosted. So, but still, it's one of those things where you're like, the goal still is not to get it.
Right. The podcast that never lost. This is from BB Naturals, all the way from across the pond, Great Britain.
Hey,
In,
baby.
la- in late 2015, I saw one of my good friends on Twitter respond to a call out for favorite black podcast. This one was on top of her list. It finally clicked for me. Go ahead and follow. Even though I'd heard Rod come on This Week in Blackness podcast, rest in peace. Yes, rest in peace.
That's
For
it.
years,
R.I.P.
but there was, pour out a little liquor.
A little bit of Crown Royal.
But there was something about seeing my friend recommended that made all the difference. Listen, friend recommendations are still the number one way to get people to listen to a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how many years. We've been in this game for 13 years. There's no amount of advertising that there's no amount of cross promotion on other people's podcasts that will outdo just a actual God's honest recommendation from a buddy. Nothing.
Right. Because odds are you, particularly if it's somebody y'all have the same sense of humor and things like that. A lot of times when you think of somebody, you go, "Oh, I know you would love this," because you were like, "Okay, it's going to be a connection there," and it's one of those things where even if they don't, they would at least try, versus somebody just randomly clicking across us. Because that's the thing, you do have some people that randomly find us, but most people end up finding us from recommendations.
Every article, marketing, whatever for podcasts will always say word of mouth is number one, and it's why it's so important and why we encourage y'all and why we're so thankful for y'all who take the time out and post us on your social media, share
Correct.
us in your stories, use our hashtag whenever somebody, we'll retweet people occasionally through our social media handles that'll be like, hey, what's a good black podcast, or what's a podcast to listen to? And y'all always show up and show out, retweeting and tagging us and shit. And
Mhm.
I think we get, as you just attested to, we get listeners, and this is from somebody in the, across the pond. So like, that's how much more reach y'all have than even us paying for an ad. We can't guarantee that the ad that this person would hear from us would ever show up across the pond, but
Agreed.
something like someone's Twitter account is enough. So thank you.
Thank you.
They are sustenance. Oh, and then she says, but there is something about seeing the friend recommended made all the difference 7 years later, and they are still part of my daily life. They are sustenance in a world increasingly starved for authenticity. Consider me y'all, I guess consider me y'all internet consider me tout internet friend recommending them to you. Oh, okay. Consider me your internet friend recommending them to you, just like my friend did for me. Love y'all.
Oh,
It's Katrina. Using my business account to make sure y'all get y'all stars, heart emoji, and laughing emoji. Thank you.
come
Okay.
on, business account and regular account, double up.
Okay. Listen, I there's nothing more that I love than somebody going on that Apple Podcast app and giving us that 5-star review. And I, because I know it's hard. I know you got to create another login sometimes. You got to
Yes.
update an old one. Listen, thank you.
Remember your password. Thank you, and a big thank you for the people that go, Apple not in my ecosystem. I'll actually create one just for you. Doubly thank you, because you like, I don't even belong over here, but because I like y'all enough, I'll create one. Thank you.
All right, let's go into the we'll get into the comments on the episodes, but I need to play some music first. right. The best way to leave comments on our episodes is just go to the blackguywhotips.com. Each episode has a post, and you can just go and create a login or and leave a comment and let us know what you thought about it. The first
Mhm.
episode from last week was, of course, a feedback episode. It was the 2658, the original January 6th, because it was that is the actual anniversary of our podcast.
Mhm.
We got some comments. Appia left like 4 in a row. All right, here
Come
we
on
go.
through, Appia. She
I
in the
know you.
house. Whoop, whoop, we see you.
She says, I know you worked from an office, and because you wore a mask, you didn't get infected despite having an office mate who had COVID. Oh, yes, I can never get tired of that story. Okay, I was scared. Um, that was that was absolutely because of your careful behavior. I know you see that you're rather in a good situation. Maybe I just remember how I felt powerless when we got it from our son. We did everything we were supposed to. The kids were vaccinated. It helped for sure. We had a very mild version, and the kids had nothing, but still, it was a feeling of loss of control. Oh, absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And from the beginning, once we kind of learned more about it, my heart actually immediately went out to our parents because you cannot control children.
Mhm.
And odds of them getting it are higher, particularly once schools started opening up and daycare started opening up. They started going out, and people had this quote unquote this myth that children quote unquote did not get it, which was a lie. Nobody, it's one of those things where they didn't get it because they weren't around each other, and then they catch it and they bring it back home to the parents who, like you say, have no control over the situation whatsoever.
I know that pharma companies are allowed to advertise to patients directly in the U.S. I work in a pharma company that operates in Europe and the U.S. It feels insane to me because there's here is extra forbidden to even mention the brand name of the prescription drug to a patient. We have a law that is called prohibition of advertising to laymen. As the compliance expert, lawyer by education in our region, I could talk about it for a very long time, but I think it's more interesting to me than others. You're probably
I
right.
Yeah, I agree with that, and also it's one of those things too to where um the way our medical system and shit is set up here too, it has a lot
Mhm.
to do with that. Um, and it's one of those things where I put like this, because I've lived in the United States, I did not know that this was abnormal. Until you talk to people overseas, they were like, "Dog, they don't do this in the other parts of the world." It was like I came here to the States. It was like, "Why the fuck every time I turn around, y'all suggesting me some medication?"
Yeah, I think I knew it was abnormal because I've been watching TV my whole life. It didn't used to be this bad.
That's true. It didn't. In
It's
fact, we
like
used to didn't have them at all when I was younger.
at this point, like every third or fourth commercial on TV seems to be for a drug,
Mhm.
gambling, or crypto. Like it's just like
One of those
damn.
three.
And of course food, but that we always had food ads in America.
Come on.
Appia from Germany also writes in, I don't hate my job at all. I like it a lot, but it's also a lot. Munchausen is when you pretend you are sick yourself. Munchausen by proxy is when you do it for a child. Yeah. Well, that's what I meant to say, and I made a mistake. So yeah, it's Munchausen by proxy is what I was trying to compare it to when that woman was like, "My one wants to come to my kid's birthday party,
Ah.
send them gifts," and basically I'm like, this is you using your kid as some type of weird sympathy clout online.
Mhm.
I think is completely destructive to a kid if they're aware of what you're doing. She
Right.
also says, one more, there's a nice American man in my city whom I know from us both having dogs. Today I met him when I was listening to the Blackout Tips. I asked him where he is from exactly in the US, and he said Charlotte. What?
Oh,
What a coincidence. Of course, I immediately told him to listen to the podcast from his hometown. Next time I will test if he did. Well, we'll see.
oh,
Hopefully he's
thank
cool.
you.
Hopefully he's a cool person,
It's a
and
small world.
yeah, but mostly it'll tell you if he's cool or not.
Right.
Because
They
if he
tell you,
listens and he hates the show, then you already know he not keep your dog away from his dog. Like it's no need to be
it might
around
be
that type of
problems.
no need to be around that type of negativity. Marissa writes in, I bet you the reason Raven was on the Miss Cleo doc has something to do with her show. That's so Raven, whether it was inspired by Cleo or if Cleo did a cameo on the show.
Right, because with that, so Raven, she would do a thing where she would have like a premonition and stuff like that, like while she was while she was doing something.
Oh, okay, I never watched that show, so
Hmm. Came on
that
Disney Plus or Disney XD, whatever they call it. You know, they doesn't change umpteen times. So it's Disney Channel.
Sean says at the beginning you were talking about COVID symptoms as they present in children. I was remembering the rabbit hole doom scroll I fell into the other day regarding the increased incidence of pediatric hemorrhage, uh, hem- pediatric hemorrhagic stroke during
Oh,
COVID. Get your vectors, I mean children, vaxxed. Yeah, it's weird. Yo, you know what's weird now is every time a celebrity or somebody die of like a heart attack, the anti-vax people are just like it's the vaccine.
and a lot sometimes when they know the people's status and they just automatically come out and say it. They don't give a fuck.
It don't matter, dog. Like
No, facts
the
don't
the, the
matter.
NFL player who had cardiac arrest, they were like, "See, that's that vaccine." I'm like, but ain't everybody on that fucking field? Like, first of all, we don't even know if they're vaccinated or not. But the vast majority of NFL players got vaccinated. So like,
Right.
why ain't all of them having heart attacks or some shit?
Right.
And Lisa Marie Presley had a heart attack and died, and they were already, but like last night, yeah, she must. It was the vaccine. I'm like, y'all not scared? And also like. I'll never get over how we absolutely do know how COVID affects people's hearts, and we do know that it
Hmm.
really does lead to people having increased risk, long term or short term, of like heart and cardiovascular issues. And they'll be like, no, that's fine. We should get COVID, or don't even worry about COVID. It's fine. Like
Yep.
they're never saying this and saying because we need to be as careful as possible. They're always saying it like we need to not get vaccinated. We need to not wear masks. We need to go out and do whatever the fuck we want because the vaccine is killing people and nothing else is. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest.
No problem.
JL Covan writes in.
Oh shit.
Regarding Raj, you can know someone how from how they play ball. I was a great passer, which hinted at my future as a philanthropist. As I joke on Have Blackface, my special coming out in 2031.
Not 2031.
The Lost Special. I think that's what the name
I'm
gonna be
looking
like.
forward to it.
By the time that shit come out, it's gonna be the Lost Special. Oh, have you ever heard the JL Covan Lost Tapes? Oh, oh no, when did that come out? It was supposed to come out in 2019 and 2020, but here in 2031, I pulled this out
We
for you.
just not getting it.
Whatever happened to dude? Oh, he went into a comedy club and suicide bombed the whole place.
Yes, he did.
This is kind of
That's gonna be end of the tape.
his manifesto. Honestly,
Yes,
if you want to know why he did it, just check out this special. It was really good and it never came
they
out.
they gonna do a thing covering JL's life, and it's all gonna lead up and in the end of like, and it all ended in a suicide bombing. Boom.
He went down to Times Square into that ping pong club that used to be a comedy place, and he blew it up. Yeah, crazy.
And
Susan
nobody
Sarandon.
understood why. He just stood there and told jokes for 15 minutes and then blew the fucker up. Nobody ever knows why.
Susan Sarandon was crying and shit. Chris Hayes of MSNBC was on my middle school church team, and he took a ton of charges in middle school. This is not only rare, but I think hinted at his future progressive politics, self-sacrifice. In college, I got into more scrapes in practice than in games because I always found it more offensive when teammates would play dirty with no refs than an opponent got away with something. It isn't cheating if the refs don't call it. This clearly hinted my future righteous prickishness. Q Rod was right music. Oh yeah, that does make sense because he is, yeah, he's much harder, I think, on the black people trying to make it in entertainment than he is on the right wing people making
Yeah,
it
and I
entertainment.
think this why I pick at JL, but I keep telling JL, you ain't never gonna give comedy up. You and comedy gonna have to die together.
I don't know
That's the
why.
only way y'all
I don't
gonna
know why you
separate.
keep saying that like that's a funny thing or a cool thing. It's really more of a curse. And I would never doom you to that. I think you can get off of it, Jay. I think you can go to Cleveland and live with your golden retriever and your righteous girlfriend and have some
Okay,
kids and
no
get
no
away from
problem. I
it.
won't believe he off that narcotic until he off of it.
I hear you. Nah, I mean, I'm just trying to have positive thoughts for him. It's Sisyphus trying to push that rock up the mountain. Why? What? Oh, you gonna make it this time, Sisyphus? Nah, you don't. You tired of the rock? I'm tired of the rock. Fine, let's go, brother. I want whatever you want. Um, Lastly, I hate parents chasing clout by portraying their kids as losers. I definitely agree that that birthday story is BS. I screenshotted a post last year that went viral with tons of celebrities wishing the kid a happy birthday. The dad literally said, "This is my son. He has autism and has no friends, not one. It would make his day if you wish him a happy birthday." The first thing I did was trademark this as cloutism. That's
Mm,
good.
I like that.
Cloutism is good. I might name the episode that obviously credit to Jail Covan. But yeah, cloutism. Oh my god,
Mhm.
yes.
That kind of wraps it up. That wraps it up. And I'm gonna use that in vocabulary and disasterbation. I consistently
Mhm.
use that in my vocabulary too because it just sums it up so perfectly.
Well, disasterbation is me.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just how a word just phrases
hmm
people's actions in one small thing, but you have to explain it.
I opted to not call this out of respect for the kid, but claiming your autistic kid is a loser, b interested in social media likes on his dad's account is a double
Right.
barrel of shameful. Yes.
Get right, because this is not the kids' account.
Like best case scenario, I hope you're lying. You know what I'm saying? Like when I read shit like that, best case scenario, I'm like, I hope this is for clout. I hope this fucking kid doesn't even know you did this shit. Cause who the fuck wants? Yeah, I told Mark Ruffalo and the Avengers you're a fucking loser, and that's why they showed up to see you because you're a loser and you don't have any friends. And then the other thing is like, I think someone brought it up in the chat or maybe some another place. Maybe they wrote it in feedback, but that kid that the fucking Avengers. Oh yeah, that's where we got it from. Yeah, that kid at the Avengers like co-signed and then found out he got beat up because he was like racist at school and shit. It's just like what kind of cloud chasing? The cloudism. It's to be the death of us all.
Hmm.
EVE says the Call Me Cleo documentary was so disappointing. I get that she had a sympathetic edit because she passed. She was really just the face of a corrupt organization. But they kind of glossed over how much of a scammer she was. She was as much Jamaican as Rachel Dolezal is black. Right. The line that I'll never forget is when they cut to the black people who are like, yeah, she is like actual Jamaican people.
Hmm.
They're like, she was not Jamaican. We could all tell. It was fucking obvious. And then they cut back to like a white woman that like took her in after she was like disgraced or whatever, and she's like, we never thought about that because love has no accent.
Yeah, they do that. We don't see race.
And I was like, you know,
Yeah.
you fucking know what happened. Why are you even trying to act like, why are you acting like everybody else is the bad guy, the bullies or whatever the fuck? You absolutely know what the fuck just happened. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was hella disappointing as a documentary to me. And the reason it was disappointing is not just because like I want to see bad things happen to Miss Cleo or see her exposed as a scammer. I just feel like you called the thing, it was just as much as the Psychic Network. You called it something about Miss Cleo, and it kind of ends up not really being about her. It ends up being about like you don't find out who she really is, where she came from, or any of this stuff. They didn't even really try. Um, let's check the comments on YouTube because we got a couple. Infinity C says, as My Hero Academia version episode is posted every Saturday during the current season. It's normal for the dub version of most anime to be posted 2 weeks after the original sub, called simulcast dubs. Funimation introduced this way of airing anime dubs soon after the original was aired in Japan, so fans didn't have to wait months and years for a DVD release with an English dub back in the Stone Ages. Just learn the airing schedule of whatever anime you're watching, and the dub version should be posted a week or two after. Example: Spy Family posted a on Saturday, so the dub version of that episode will be posted 2 weeks after. Or To You Eternity airs on Sundays, and the dub will be posted Sunday after next. Hope this helps. Love you guys. Please, please, please watch To Your Eternity. I'm dead ass serious. You need to watch this show. The first episode will hook you in right away. By the end, heart emoji. And I just want to say, because of growth, thank you. But
Yeah.
I already knew all this. We both
I
already know all this. We are so diehard anime fans.
and the
It's
thing is,
almost like it's like
sometimes they don't even follow that schedule. Sometimes they post it quicker. So that's what kills me. Like
That's
some
not. Hold on, please. That's not even what the problem was this time. The problem is and this is something they should fix, in my opinion. When they went on their break for the season, it's like about a month to like 4 to 5 week break on
yeah,
My Hero Academia and Spy Family. They all took a break at the same time. Well, they were 2 weeks behind on the dubs when they took the break. They never updated the dubs until they came back with the next episode 5 weeks later. And so my dub is no longer 2 weeks behind. It's like 7 weeks behind. So
right.
that's why we were saying like that's kind of whack to us. Just
Hmm.
go ahead and put those dubs out. I don't know if it's like a holiday thing or something and they can't, like, they're not working and that's what it is. I don't know. But it just seemed like uh while you have the 5 or 7 weeks between, you might as well go ahead and put them two dubs out, and then we'll just start with the 2 week deficit
Fix it.
again when we
Right.
start. But that was just my personal preference. But
Because it was very frustrating clicking on that bitch, and it was 3 episodes behind. Now I'm 4 episodes behind. Now, so it's like, oh, come on, y'all.
yeah, I think if I knew for a fact that they would have just said, because they don't even, because I googled it, they not even posting like online like, hey guys, the dub's not coming back for like 7 weeks as well. Like
Right.
I would appreciate a little heads up. That's all I'm saying. So but we do appreciate y'all trying to put us on
Inform
game, and
us.
somebody probably learned from that didn't know.
Agreed.
And Gabble says, "Hi, Rod and Karen. This is my first communication. I'll write an introductory paragraph sometime in the future, but this time I wanted to respond directly to Rod wearing a mask when others aren't. Just so you know, you're not alone. I'm also a mask weirdo. I work in healthcare, IT, data, and I see how the sausage is made, so to speak. I still wear a mask in church, supermarkets, Targets, anywhere where I'm inside in the winter with a lot of people outside of my home. My 24-year-old lives with me. She has a baby. She's a baby nurse, meaning she's a brand new nurse. She's had COVID twice.
Oh,
Once last January and then early in December. Both times I did not test positive for COVID. She isolated with her friends who had COVID, and I used a HEPA filter. I'm 61 years old, so there's a big difference between somebody my age versus somebody who is 24 getting COVID. If
come
I get
on.
sick, I get sick, but I don't see the problem with wearing a mask. I just don't get what the big deal is. I wear a pink KN95 when I'm out shopping or going to Weight Watchers or at church. I just can't get over seeing folks my age blissfully just farting around without a mask. It's just peer pressure. Fuck peer pressure.
I think that's what it is for a lot of people. They feel awkward. They feel strange. They don't want to be the odd man out a lot of times, and so I think a lot of people have just stopped because it's like, well, if nobody else doing it, why should I do it? And truth be told, to an extent, I understand people that are boosted and vaccinated, like up to whatever the recommendation is,
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, look, I did everything I was supposed to do. A lot of so I understand their perspective. They was like, look, I might be freeballing it, but I know I'm not gonna roll over and die if I catch this. Versus other people, you ain't vaccinated, it's gonna take you down for real.
Yeah, and I just, the thing for me is that I know I'm a bit of a weirdo and I know I'm a bit of a, whatever. Like I accept that. But the thing is, there doesn't even seem to be a logic of like when it's time to put on a mask. Like it doesn't even seem to be, because you would think everyone would be like, well, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna wear a mask in Target. I'm not gonna be that close to people and whatever. Like, yeah, I completely understand if you don't want to wear that mask in that place. And maybe you're vaccinated, maybe you're boosted and stuff and all that stuff, whatever. Maybe you just don't give a fuck. But then like when I was on a plane and there was like, say 10% of the people wearing a mask, it's like, but we're on a plane together,
We're on a
y'all.
plane.
We
This air is
cycle the same air,
recycled, right?
you
This air
know.
rotates around.
Like and on the plane, I had my mask on and I turned that little air conditioning thing on above my head to blow the air down to the ground because I heard that's good. That like that I read this thing about like if you're traveling at an airport, how to be safe.
Hmm.
And it's like, you can eat, but if you eat away from people,
Right.
and put your mask right back on, and wear your mask on the plane, make sure it's a KN95. You turn on the little AC thing above your head, blow the air down towards your feet or whatever. Like, and I'm like, this is just a little thing to do, why not do it? And then you look up and you're like, I'm the only person doing this shit, huh?
Yeah, because for most people, the average person is going to take the easiest route. So for a lot of people, it is inconvenient to constantly remember to put on that mask. So the second they was like, fuck that mask, like I'm not putting that bitch back on. It's inconvenient to do the little things that you're doing,
yeah,
And so a lot of people there aren't willing to take the sacrifice out of the inconvenience. But I don't mind being inconvenienced because I've been doing it so long. A lot of times it's just automatic habit. It's a lot of times I
yeah.
just automatically start doing shit just because this is what we do.
Yeah, it's just weird when you don't even factor in like different scenarios is all. Like it's
Right.
like like because that's the other thing. They'll do it when they're made to do it, by which I mean like we're gonna be taping live shows with an audience during the next few weeks. And I guarantee you we'll have a mask mandate for the audience and everybody's gonna wear the fucking mask.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not that big a deal if the airport and the airplane said wear your mask. Motherfuckers would for the most part wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say you don't have to wear the mask, it's up to you. Nothing else has changed in the like reasonableness of when and where to wear a mask. And motherfuckers will be like, all right, well, I don't gotta wear it then, fine. Karina says another mask. She replied to this comment. Another mask weirdo right here in the office full time. I'm the only one who wears a mask, and they will keep getting this glasses and mask look. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's So yeah, it's just interesting. Let's get to the poll. The poll was: have you ever had to set boundaries with a friend? Yes or no? 76% of people yes, and 24% no. I should have added one more option. Do you not have friends? Because that
Yeah,
probably
that's actually a good one too.
like maybe you don't set boundaries. I ain't got none. The exact same percentage is basically on the Spotify poll. So whether you
Oh
have
shit!
money
Even
or
if you put
not,
the money.
well, you have money or not, Karen, it doesn't change the way that you have to set boundaries with friends. So um, our podcast is a whole teenager now. Is the comment we had on Spotify. June
Oh
says,
shit!
"Congratulations." Aaron says the worst years. Yeah, we got like an angsty teenager.
Right.
Uh, our podcast is goth now. Uh,
Look at me
it be
dressing in all black,
yeah, it be shot
wearing
shopping.
chokers and shit,
It be
clogs.
it be shopping at Hot Topic.
Yeah, we do.
Um, Raphael says, "Happy podcast anniversary to the best podcasters in the world. When it comes to making friends, I have to give kudos to Meetup for helping me connect with two of my coolest pals after I moved to NYC." Rachel says, "Happy anniversary. Been a fan for 10 years. My number one of all the recent Spotify rap list. I don't regret a single minute spent listening, y'all. We need a new bullet ball up soon." Oh, we do. We'll try to get to that when we get back
Mm-hmm.
um in Charlotte.
Yeah, because we
Uh,
always get new listeners, and every now and then somebody be like, "What is a bullet ball and bullet ball extreme?" Y'all talk about every episode.
Thank you for the reminder.
Yes, we
Katie,
got to get
Katie,
Justin for that one.
Katie says, "Congrats, wine emoji, or champagne emoji. So glad you're still around." And Aaron says, "Happy birthday." With congrats, like I don't even know what you call that thing, the like party emoji thing where it look like you're blowing confetti out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Purple heart emoji, laugh heart, star eyes emoji, I think, a whale emoji, a rainbow emoji. It was a lot of some type of shooting star emoji. There's a lot going on over here. Okay, we emojied up over here. Emoji gang. All right, let's get to the next episode. It was episode 2659, The Cucking of McCarthy. We had 5 comments. Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars for Karen's recap of the Hornets games over the past 2 days.
I've been having a ball. I'm going to the game tonight. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Do you know who we play tonight? Do you know who we play tonight? I don't even know.
Boston.
Oh yeah, Jaylen Brown's not playing, but Jason Tatum is.
Yeah,
So
probably be close to a sold out game. Probably gonna be crowded. Probably gonna be most Celtics fans there.
True.
Because that's one of them teams that kind of roll deep,
Mm-hmm.
across the country. So I'm looking forward to that. So we're gonna go early so we can avoid all the people at the buffet and drink line.
Yeah, that was funny because I remember when we went to the Celtics game, and just anecdotally, it was just I was just laughing because I've never seen that many brothers in Celtics clothes and gear, and they all had like white women. they
They
was
were
they,
rolling deep in there. It
I
was
was
just,
like,
I was just looking. Yes.
I'm trying not to judge the
No
brothers that root for the
judgment, but
Celtics, but
yeah.
it's seemed like it's a tight. But maybe that was just the day I was out there. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
probably was. I'm pretty sure it's some Celtics fans out there that going, but man, my wife is not white.
I don't know. Maybe black women just don't fuck with the Celtics that bad. This, oh, you a Celtics fan? Swipe the other way. Swipe left. Appia says, I don't like the new insurrection trend at all. Yeah, I'm not a fan of
Me
it either.
either. It's all honey. It don't got no language barrier or anything. It was like we just gonna cut, copy, paste, and put it in another country that speaks a whole nother language, but the foundation of that shit is the same.
EVE says Kevin McCarthy will forever be a laughing stock and no one will ever respect him again. If
Nope.
they actually ever did, the next 2 years are going to be a huge clown show.
Yes, it is. Not only is it going to be a huge clown show, people joked and they laugh, and I'm here for the jokes about how it took them, 15 times. Da, 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 da. Y'all do know that was a test run on how every fucking thing they vote on is going to go moving forward, right? Y'all do know shit's not gonna get done. Y'all do know their piece of the three-part government. You know what they have to do? The motherfucking budget. They raised the debt ceiling. They the people that make sure we don't default on our loans. That's them niggas' jobs. And so it's one of those things where we're gonna fuck around and because of who they are, I can see them fucking defaulting and shit just because they fucking can, shut down the government, shut down the economy just because they fucking can, and the whole country will go into motherfucking chaos and they not give a goddamn about it.
Yeah, the problem for me is just, and I know I'm gonna be right about this, and it just fucking sucks. But the problem for me is gonna be rather than people looking at this as a lesson of like, and this is why the fuck these people need to go. It
Right.
it'll be that way for a little while, and then it'll turn into the just tried and
Go back
true.
to default.
The Democrats somehow are to blame for this. It's Joe Biden's fault. It's not our fault as voters. It's not the
Right.
Republicans'
I
fault
don't have no
as
responsibility
politicians.
in this process whatsoever.
It's all gonna be the fault of the whatever Democrats are in, not in power but the minority seats, and it'll be pressure on them to quote unquote compromise with these fucking sycophants. And Kevin McCarthy's gonna be a fucking puppet because of the
He
way
gave
he
up
got
all his
elected,
power.
and
He gave up all his power.
because of the way he got elected, and because of the um new rule where like it only takes one person to like challenge his seat or whatever, he will end up being beholden to the most extreme people in his party, and he will try to pass, or not even pass, but he will try to promote legislation and social uh like the social wars type of policies. He'll try to do that shit to because he has no choice. Like it's gonna be like, I'm passing the uh gay kids and trans kids need to go to jail. Parents need to go to jail act. And it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, there's no way it's gonna get passed by the Senate. There's no way y'all can do it on your own. And he's gonna have to do that because if he doesn't promote that shit, there's gonna be all these people that are like, no, like we actually want to challenge you because you won't do what we say. So this is the new hell. This is what we're doing right now.
That's why Mitch McConnell stepped down. They tried to pull that bullshit with him. He was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this. So that's why he stepped down because he was like, I'm not gonna be beholden to y'all. I let some other sucker take this job and let y'all run them. What you ain't gonna do is run me.
Yeah, well, he's anti-Trump, and I didn't know he stepped down. I This is the first I heard of that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, and that's why the other dude end up being up next because they basically was like, if we put you back in as the majority leader, because it changed once the
well,
numbers changed.
McConnell is not. McConnell is not the majority leader. He's in the Senate, not the House.
Ah,
So
okay, he's in the
I
other
think,
piece. My bad.
yeah, I think he's the minority leader of the Senate still. I don't think he
Okay.
stepped down, but but um, even still, he's been just enough of a person that don't fuck with Trump that he's gonna pay a cost for that. Like you can't
Yes.
be like that. In that party, you can't be like that and not pay a cost, you know. Anyway, EVE said, oh wait, I'm sorry. And then Trey says it's about to be a grand opening, grand closing for Kevin McCarthy, and this is going to be hilarious, right? Karen. And Wangangi says, absolutely fall asleep with your podcast on when I'm binging to catch up. Yeah, I just find that interesting. I think I just have
Oh,
the kind of brain that, for the most part, it's harder for me to sleep when I'm trying to, when I want to pay attention to something. I'll stay awake. I'll just be awake all night. But I've heard it works the opposite for some people. And hey, if we're the voices that help you go to sleep, I'm proud to be that, you know. Maybe we should work some lullabies into the podcast now. You know. All right, guys, it's time to go to bed. All
all
right.
right, guys.
We're gonna dream about sugar plums and
It's time to lay
fairies and
down. It's time to put the kids to bed.
go to
It's time to turn off
sleep.
your mind.
Go
Go
to
to sleep.
sleep.
Go
Go
to
to
sleep.
sleep, Wangangi.
I know,
All right.
right?
So yeah, the comments on YouTube. Let's do those real quick because we got to do those. Um, Nicole says, "Congrats on to Louisiana for writing VPN ads for the next 100 years." Yeah, because yeah, people gonna definitely try to find a way around that porn ID check shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
they not trying. No one's gonna. I don't think. Not a lot of people gonna willfully give their copy of a license to Pornhub and just hope
Right,
that
for it
the
to
shit.
get hacked.
Yeah, just hope the shit stays in the right hands. Hope that someone doesn't track what your account was viewing and shit. Because we're such weird puritanical prudes about pornography that
Mm-hmm.
while regardless of whatever it is you watch, um, if it's one thing to go, man, we all watch the worst stuff, or we all watch amateur, or we all watch this, or we all right. It's one thing to say that shit. It's another for a motherfucker to be like, and you watched this video.
Right, because it's your
Because
personal preference.
whether I'm not even talking about preference. You could have accidentally clicked. It don't matter.
That's true too. That
You
happens sometimes.
once you're attached to anything,
Right. And
people
they can
will
track it.
then people will then judge you. So I think what'll be the true test is one of these sites gets hacked, or a
Mhm.
government official or someone famous is like thing is found out, whatever their thing they're into is, and then how everyone judges them. I think if that happens, whether it be overseas, whether it be because overseas are already doing some of this, if that ever happens, I think you'll see a wide reaching like wait, we can't do it this way. Like, you know
Yeah,
what
that
I
law would change. Right.
yeah, because like it's one thing to verify somebody's ID through like their access to like a credit card or something. And yeah, that can be fake, but someone can also fake a license, you know. But
Yes, they can.
like it's one thing to verify it that way. It's another thing to be like, give me your
Mm.
license registration or whatever the fuck. And then someone
And
gets hacked and it's like, Mitch McConnell is into BBW feet porn.
I didn't yeah, and I didn't think about it, but I was listening to somebody talk about this, and they were saying, I think it might have been Bo, and he was saying, "Hey, what are you gonna do when you got stupid ass teenagers that might decide to go in their mama's or daddy's pocketbook and put in their information because they're not of
Right.
age?"
Mm-hmm.
That shit get hacked, and all of a sudden, people gonna be like, "Why was you on the porn site?" They're gonna be like, "I wasn't on no porn site," and then you're gonna realize your kid was watching the porn because your kid's like, "I don't know how to get around this."
I just like to welcome these kids back to my world. Okay. Good luck.
Magazines.
Good luck. That's not what I was gonna say, but yeah, good luck. Okay. Because that means y'all back to going into the woods and hoping somebody threw some porn out, some brochures or something in the middle of the woods, and it also means y'all back to squinting at the Spice Channel,
Spice
hoping
Channel.
for them,
Not
hoping for
not the
that,
Skinamax.
hoping
Yeah.
not the Skinner Max. No, I'm talking about that Spice Channel your parents ain't pay for, but every like 14th second you get like
It,
half
it,
a
it gives
titty.
you a real clear chance. It's clear and then it goes back out again.
You get like half a titty for every 14 seconds, and you be like, maybe I can jack off 14 seconds at a time. I don't know. But congratulations, you're in the
Con-
shit now.
Congratulations. They might fuck around and bring back real sex, and then you feel the disappointment of going to real sex and
Mhm.
realizing that sometimes it's about everything but the sex. You're like, what?
Welcome back to bringing up, trying to develop an imagination. Y'all didn't grow up with one, you know.
Mm.
But I grew up having to have an imagination. You had to be like, listen, it's all about Winnie Cooper, and I gotta make the fantasy up in my brain. Like you just y'all ain't got to do. Y'all didn't have to do that. Like y'all got the fake AI, face swapping, whatever. Y'all got the whole whatever you imagine. You just type in and it come up. But we wasn't growing up that way.
The world was not at our fingertips.
Mike says, I love the insert NBA to NBC intro music. Karen NBA corner update. I like hearing Karen talk NBA hoop and her experiences at the Hornets games. I'm a Wizard fan and I enjoy the live NBA games regardless of their standings. I get cheap tickets to watch the young squads like Orlando and Oklahoma City. This always is a fun time with the crowd interactions, the break entertainment, waiting in the food line for your significant other while they enjoy, and of course the dunks. Seriously, go premium if you want more in-depth sports talks with Karen, Rod, and Justin on Balls D Sports. It's literally like no other sports podcast. If you want to hear the sport news of the week, that'll include jokes, reasonable observations, and mess, then Balls D Sports is the way to go. This ain't a paid sponsorship, just a big fan. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you, baby. And the thing is, with me and my intro, I'm telling my age because I bet there's a whole lot of people going, "The fuck she talking about?" Because they don't play that thing no more. That's old
Right.
school.
The poll, have you ever fallen asleep with our podcast on? Yes, on purpose, 19%. Yes, by accident, 54%. And nope, 27%. The ones by accident, I hope it's not like driving or at work. You know what I mean? Like I hope it's just like, oh, I'll put this on and lay down and I hope that's what. And also get you some sleep, babies. Get y'all some naps, okay?
It's
We want
okay.
y'all to fall asleep on purpose around here. We want y'all
On
to,
purpose.
yeah. And then let me check the anchor information for this episode, the Cucking of McCarthy. So the podcast poll, 26% yes on purpose, 37%, so much lower by accident, have fallen asleep. And that's because rich people get their rest. Okay, if there's one thing about these
Come
rich
on.
people,
They're gonna get their rest.
they're gonna get their rest. And
How so they gonna
37,
make their money if they ain't resting?
come on, and 37%, nope, they have never fallen asleep by accident or on purpose to the podcast. And I've never fallen asleep on any podcast ever. Like,
Mm-mm.
I think my brain don't work that. I don't, guys. It's just living in this brain I have. It's just there's things people do that I'm sure they look at me and don't understand how I'm that way, and I feel like vice versa. Like I don't like I have friends who are like, yeah, I'll listen to your podcast and fall asleep. I was like, and then how do you like you got to go back and find where you fell asleep and listen again, or do you just don't care what we talked about the rest of the time and you just like, well, I'll listen to that episode. Don't matter what they were saying. I never ask them, but I think it, because I don't want to
Because
judge
that's what your
anybody.
brain ticks, right?
Yeah, because my brain, I have such a completionist brain. I'll be like, that does not count as listening to a show. Then
That's why that's why yeah, that's why it drives you nuts when I'm like, I watched it. I was like, you did not watch it. You was in the background walking back and forth.
or just I don't mind that as much, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Arrogant Demon says, oh, I'm sorry. And then the comment for the show was goodbye, good boy, Earl, good boy. Because that dog, that porn sniffing dog died.
Yes.
And all porn sniffing dogs go to heaven. Arrogant Demon says, very good boy. Bianca says, everything but student loans gets hacked.
Right. Because, why don't you hack the student loans and pay them bitches off? Don't nobody ever hack that. Don't nobody ever be like, my debt paid.
That's why I don't really fuck with that TV show, Mr. Robot. Because, like, this nigga's supposed to be like a hacktivist that was going to save the world and upstage all the global economies and shit. And I'm like, y'all don't do that. Like, I know y'all could have hacked this crypto shit and got us to some type of utopia. Y'all didn't waste. Anonymous is like, no, we not doing that. we looking at people Game Boy accounts. Like, Raphael says, I'm still blown away, no pun intended, by the porn sniffing dog. How did one come up with that, I guess? Did they try other animals for $4? Was it during one of those there's nothing else to do style moments?
It
Yeah,
might
I
have
do want to
been.
know what the first animal was.
I
You know,
guarantee you it was not a dog.
yeah, like
Might have been
oh,
a rat. They always thought of for rats and mice. And then
yeah.
they may have made their way up to like a monkey or gorilla, or, like an ape type of animal, and it was
I
like,
don't think
nah,
it
this
was.
don't work either.
It definitely wasn't a gorilla. Too strong.
Too
And,
too strong.
and if
They
they
was
get
like
excited,
they would actually destroy the pawn and the person.
or they might get excited. They might be into it. Now what you gonna do? You got a four hundred
Then you got
pound
real problems.
strong ape that's like, you know what? I'm into this. And now I gotta go. Yeah, it's too much.
Too much.
Episode 2660. Wait, hold on. Is that right? That's not right. Episode 2660. Cuck the Police is the next episode. We had two cuck puns in a two cuck episodes in a row.
In a row.
A- Appia says, Mael Organics, I have a question. If the formula is the one that works for black and white hair, or at least people like it is now, and buy tons of it, what would the motivation be to change the formula? I have some movement in my hair. It's still not completely straight on the hair chart. It's a 2A, I would say. Like, I like to use products for curly hair, not black hair products, as we don't have them in regular shops because no black people live here.
Right.
My hair looks more curly and shiny with them. MD Aria says, I think people fear that to mass produce the product, it will find ways to cut costs, make it cheaper, easier to make. It is not founded in a lot of fact, just fear. I think we
Right.
had the same thing happen with another hair product last year where folks stopped because they
Mhm.
blew up the product had changed.
Right. Right. Like
Um,
I said, a lot of
yeah.
it goes back down to the fear, the projection, the disappointment and hurt and pain of consistently being let down once something goes mainstream and cross over. Because, just seeing people's comments online, I was like, oh yeah, and I feel bad for them. I understand it, but that's what a lot of the quote unquote controversy comes from. And a lot of people just go in panic mode automatically, and it's automatically you change the product, and they're going, well, we didn't change the product. We know you will. Nobody said that. Nobody ever admit that you're gonna do it, and it's like, oh, okay, that's coming from a place of I will reject you before you reject us. So fuck you and your product because I don't want to deal with the disappointment again. Quote
Mhm.
unquote. And so I see a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of disappointment, and it all boils down to a lot of shit that always has. White supremacy has impacted all of us, and so for a lot of people, this is their defense mechanism kind of against that in their products.
My, so two things here, one, I think people are using other brands against this brand when she has explicitly said she didn't plan on doing that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, two, I think because like I think it was Shea Moisture that did that one where like they tried to be inclusive and then people were like, "Yeah, I was sold out," and they had a commercial with white people in it and shit, um and then because a lot of the argument against the people that do have a problem ends up being like, y'all just mad because a black person trying to get to the bag and y'all hate black people, y'all want us to not make money and we get into business, what's wrong with us making money and blah blah blah. A lot of times people see someone else investing in you or buying your product as buying you out and you no longer
Right.
having to stay, which is not always true.
Nope.
Sometimes it's true, but we don't know the details of the deal.
Right.
um, but the two things for me is one, I think this is just part of my old school mentality at this point. Hey man, you're responsible for your shit. In which I mean, it's like because someone in the past cheated on you does not give you the permission to go through the next person's phone. So shea moisturizer that has nothing to do with this woman. And if we
Right.
treat all black people and black creatives and black people like this businesses, what is the fucking point?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then don't root for me. You know what I mean? If that's how you're gonna be, then don't fuck with me then. Because I've never done anything to deserve that level of disbelief and scrutiny. You need therapy, not me. And you're not gonna
Right.
make your insecurity my problem. You can't do that to me. It's not
And
fair.
I see it, and
It's
that's
just
what's happening.
to me, it's just as unfair as someone saying, I'm black, I'm doing all this shit for black people and then changing the formula on y'all. To me, that's just as unfair as y'all as presuming that I would be the one to do that shit. So that's number one. But then, number two, I think what people fail, the part they don't want to discuss, the people who are like on the side of like, well, they took advantage of this black audience and we have a right to be upset and all this shit. Y'all don't want to admit that a lot of y'all are doing it for content.
Yes.
A lot of y'all are doing this for content, and y'all don't want to say that's what it's about. It's like you are making content off of the demagoguing of these black creatives under the guise of like, no, I'm so pro black that I'm mad at this black person ahead of time, like with no fucking proof that they're gonna do any of this shit. I'm gonna start making content as if they did, and I'm gonna go viral, and I'm gonna make my TikToks, and I'm gonna make my tweets. And you could just as let's say you really believe this, you could just as easily wait and see what happens.
Right.
You could just have as easily have waited and been like, oh, they did change that formula. This is why this is bullshit. But no, you're not even going to give them a chance. You're jumping ahead to be like, they are definitely going to do this. So I think people are trying to like, no one wants to talk about the dirty little secret of the content, the monetization, the attention economy that comes off of this shit. And they don't really care about these black people that make this shit because they
Mm-mm.
put them in a position to have to come out and be like, this is what's happening. And in a lot of cases, it's nothing like no malfeasance, it's nothing surreptitious, it's nothing ill-hearted. It's all just like and it's not even on some like I decided to get the bag. Fuck y'all. Like it's them being
Right.
like, hey, no, this is what we had to change. This is what we didn't. This is something. This is how our plans are. This is how it's gonna work. Like it's never like give them a chance to explain. It's always like accuse, 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 put them on the defensive, and then vilify them. I don't like that shit.
Right. And the thing is, it's like you're proven guilty until otherwise. And put like this, and even if it's otherwise, nobody's gonna come back and say they're sorry. Nobody's gonna come out and say anything. If they bash your name to the point to where you start losing sponsorship and money, nobody gives a fuck about that. And that's why, and I think that that's the thing that really frustrates me, particularly in this situation, because it's not like they did anything. Particularly in this situation, the same people that turn around will be like, oh, I wonder what happened to them 5 years from now, because people have such short-term memory and shit
Well, it's
like that
a
when
white
you're part of the
influencer.
problem sometimes.
This all started with a white influencer shouting them out. Like that's not even in something they can control.
Mm-mm.
And keep in mind, people started with this means they will now switch over to exclusively like pushing black people out of the way to only cater to white women.
Right.
That is
Like,
so you don't see if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you don't see how that's fucked up on your part, then I don't we just two different type of people that'll never be able to like relate. It's like if when we got signed to Spotify for exclusivity for a year, if people were like, well, now they're just gonna talk about white people and they're not gonna talk about racism and shit. I'd be like, fuck you, because you saw me put my heart and soul into what I did, and you think I have no fucking integrity. You think I got a little bit of money and went fuck everything I'm about. Fuck you. That's how I would feel. And
yeah.
so it's good on these people that they don't come out and say that shit, but I definitely would be hurt by the fan base. They talking about their hurt, I would be hurt too.
Yeah, and also it's one of those things where, like you said, they never considered a creative person. And also, what's even more fucked up about it, like with like Apia right now, what about white people with curly hair? People act like curly hair is exclusively to niggas and black and brown people, but that's not true. There are white people with curly hair that
Well,
could
I
actually
mean,
benefit from the product. That people go,
but
no, fuck
they're
y'all.
they're an afterthought, and I get that. The same way we're an afterthought in other things.
Right.
But yeah, if it helps their hair, who gives a fuck?
Who cares?
Oh well, now they're gonna start buying it. Yes, and the person that makes it will then have the money to reinvest into the business to make more product, or they'll get into, like it'll get into more people's hands. It's like getting mad at Bevel for being sold in Target. It's at some point, it's a level of like it's the presumption. I don't mind being mad at somebody's lack of integrity. The
Right.
presumption of a lack of integrity is where you lose me, because to me that's just you projecting,
Right.
and then almost hoping to be right about the person. Like, because
Hmm.
if not, what did you go make all this content about how they sold you out for? If because you're never gonna be able to, you will never see these people be as loud on the retraction.
Right.
When the person comes out and goes, that is not what's going to happen. Y'all watch and see, but I will not let that happen. They never come back and go, you know what? They didn't let that happen. My bad.
No, because like you said, you have to strike while the iron is hot. And
Right.
so, because it's the talk of the town, it's a topic. This is what everybody's talking about. All the people on the YouTube and the natural hair and all this,
Yeah.
everybody's just kind of doing their quote unquote their own thing, regardless of the reality. And only time will tell. Now, if something happens and the person does do that, okay, fry them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like fry them. Then that's my thing. I understand the feeling and the past pains and the insecure. I completely understand it, and those feelings are valid. Nobody's saying those feelings are not valid, but exercise those feelings when the feeling is warranted. Like when it's
Yeah.
warranted. Like if
Because
they do
we've
something,
all,
you be like, yeah, this is fucked up, and this is why I think it's fucked up. Not pre get mad.
yeah, we've all seen that shit happen. We've all, as a black creator in the podcasting lane, I've seen that. Like, I know black creators whose whole thing is like, I'm black to get to white dollars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that is like, that's all they want. And I get how people are wary of that shit. I just think it's different to just attack without the. I think the attack is fucked up. I've said it enough. I'm not going to convince everybody, but while I have empathy and understanding for people's insecurities,
Yeah.
your insecurity doesn't get to be reality. It's the same reason I have an issue with whiteness, where their feelings get to be more important than facts. And a lot of black people covet that. They would
Yes, they
like to
do.
also live in a world where their feelings are more important than what's factual. And I refuse to participate in that shit. You can have your feelings of insecurity and your feelings of mistrust. You do not get to then demagogue this black person and turn them into something they're not. If it turns out you're true, boom, I'll go ahead and say that. But if it turns out that it is if it turns out that it's true, go ahead and get them. But if it turns out it's not true, you will never be able to pull back the negativity you put into the world with this bullshit.
Mm-mm.
So yeah. Back to Abia said, I was listening to the cop sex story while I was at the supermarket and lost the overview pretty much immediately. Too much action. I would doubt that the woman was in a great place with this behavior. The men did get way less action per dick, and she did get all the action. That's why I see it differently for her, but maybe I'm just too sex negative. I don't know. I mean, who
Talking
knows?
about the penis, talking about the penis ratio. The penis ratio is pretty high for her.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with that, because there seemed to be like some mental health stuff that came up towards the end of that article.
Don't make
Um,
sense.
and I saw the update on the article was that her husband wants to stay and work it out with her. And I was like, it's bad when the news think it's newsworthy that you didn't leave. Like, like you never want to be in a situation like, what was it, like Human Aberdeen, where it's like the news is reporting like, and she gonna stay with this nigga. Like, that's
Right.
always a bad look.
Because it's one of those things where the reason why I was saying it makes sense because I could see them putting that out there so people could have more compassion for her, like and things
Right.
like that. Like y'all quote unquote feel bad for her, and it may be a situation where she had made this on her own without nothing mentally being wrong with her. But it's one of those things where we can't just let her get bashed.
Let's see. MDR, it says, looks like the Mile products got bought by Procter and Gamble. Cue the black capitalism music. I'm happy for them though. It sounds like they will still have control of the company, but just maybe have more resources available to them. Right. I've seen the spin I've seen on this is like, this is proof they will not have control. Their formula is going to change and it will be marketed for white people. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Y'all don't know how contracts work.
I'm not saying that, but just I'm sorry, you have no proof of that.
Agreed.
You have no reason to assume that, to be honest. Like with this person telling you that's not gonna happen, you're like, fuck what you said. I'm gonna disaster bait over this. Like it
Mhm.
don't matter. It don't matter what you saying. Like that
Yeah,
is so fucking weird to me because this
yeah.
is the person that made the thing that you swear by. Why would they suddenly be like, fuck my thing though? I got the bag. That's all it was ever about. Like
Right. Fuck my fan
maybe
base, the people that supported me. Like y'all don't mean shit to me now. And it's one of those things where it's coming from a place of insecurity, hurt, pain, people being scared. Like we have been fucked up as a community and it pops out in various different ways.
because you know what else would, this is the thing. You know what else would have helped this person that they probably never were gonna fucking get on their own, not even with all the black support in the world. They were never gonna get to the means of production to provide it to all the people that the product can help. You
Right.
know, it's like there's a benefit to some of this shit, especially if you negotiate the ability to control your product. Like y'all are investing in me. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think, people had this idea and they're just as much a victim of the LLC culture shit, even though they swear to be against it. But
Right.
they're just as much a victim of like the mentality of capitalism by assuming that every black person that gets a bag is just doing it for capitalism's sake. You could literally be trying to help people. You could be trying to get reach more people. It's not saying
Right. You be trying to
it
help
doesn't have
people
to.
build a community, but people don't care about that.
It's like when Bevel was advertising exclusively like on black podcasts, it was getting to a specific, audience.
Hmm.
Eventually you saturate that. Everybody that listens to the podcast has heard that ad. So now they start putting their ads on, say, Sirius XM. Well, that's not only black people that listen to Sirius XM. It's all kinds of people. No, and maybe it's because it's a man, but I don't
Right.
remember anyone saying, "Oh, Tristan Walker sold out."
Mm-mm.
Oh, he signed a deal with Target. Oh, he now wants white people to shave their hair
Hmm.
with bevel. Keep
That,
in
that
mind,
crossing over.
white people can shave their hair with bevel. It's not a black
Yes.
only thing. It's anybody with razor bumps issues. But the point being, it was interesting. You did not see that as a negative thing. You didn't see all this backlash. It could have also been because it happened before the TikTok,
Yeah.
like
Era.
misery
Yeah.
influence era.
Hmm.
But the point being, like, you did not see this happen, and it feels a little bit like the massage noir they're accusing the brand of doing. It feels like they're doing it, where it's like, hey, black woman, you owe us your like everything, and you better not ever try to expand or anything unless it's under our purview. Once
Right.
again,
Like they
I'm
gonna
not
bully
saying
you.
right, and that's what the biggest turnoff is. It turns into this weird hate hive, mean girl shit, and it's
Hmm.
not really about the creative anymore. It's about the camaraderie you get from dunking on her and swearing it's going to be a doomsday scenario. If it comes to pass, I would absolutely be like, that was fucked up, and I get why
Agreed.
people are hurt. If it doesn't come to pass, they will never go back and say, we were completely doing the sky is falling and we were wrong. They'll never go back. And the brand, honestly, will never recover from that hit, basically, that it takes within the community. In the chat room right now, there's still people that don't know how the last one worked out. When people were like, remember when it was like, oh, this woman had um products for like people's like vaginal issues and stuff, and it was like, oh,
Yes.
it's parabens, it's not parabens. Nobody remembers the details. They just remember the negative connotation that came with the brand. Yeah,
Honeypot. That's what it
honeypot.
was.
They just
Right.
remember that, and I'm like, that does a disservice. Look, Cass with the update, they never sold though, so they took that hit for nothing.
Right.
Like they took that hit for nothing because I guarantee if I put up a poll, everybody remembers the controversy. They remember it being controversial. They remember the negative connotation. They don't remember how that shit resolved for the most part. They just go, I don't fuck with them no more.
Yeah. And the thing is, and what's so fucked up about it? The same people that are a lot of the same people that are complaining don't realize for a lot of people, they need the resources, and the resources require money so that you can get to larger markets. Because a lot of times people be like, well, why ain't you here? And why ain't you here? And I can't find you here. And why can't we get you online? And why can't I find you here? A lot of times they don't have the money nor the resources to be in these places. Then they get to the point where they have the money and the resources to get to these places to have a wider audience, and then all of a sudden you have a problem with it. And would be the same people that would turn around and be like, well, I wish they would be bigger, or I wish they could do better, or I wish they could do this. Well, you can't have both ways. You can't wish they could do something, then they get to the point where they do it, and now you have a problem that they're doing it. Like, and I guess that's what a logic just does not make sense to me.
Right. Anyway, it was just the assumption of malintent, but whatever. Back to this though. All I know is folks will find a way to be paranoid about the product now that they done sold out. Can't wait for the Mael organics ain't been hitting the way the same since P&G bought them. Anyone else notice this? TikToks. Yep, they will do that.
Yeah, even if it's
No
true
matter
or
if
not,
nothing
it don't
changes.
matter.
Sean says, I found your coverage of the Megan Hall officer who literally fucked around and found out a bit ableist. I mean, she is obviously dyslexic. That's why she signed up for the PD to begin with. So I get what you're saying. She thought she was signing up for the DP. Mhm. And I don't think she was dyslexic. I think she was dicklexic. Okay. Evie E says,
Digmatized.
I think something that a lot of people are overlooking in this Chef Way controversy is that he works as a prosecutor. How many cases has he oversaw with dark-skinned women whom he may have requested harsher sentences for versus their light-skinned counterparts? Someone needs to review all his cases. I agree there. The DA he is working under is apparently sticking by him, and I find this very sus. I don't know if he is genuinely changed or not, but he has a real power to actually do harm to people's lives while he was spouting this bullshit. Fuck this guy. Here's the thing. I think they should look into that for sure. I don't necessarily know that it would be true. I don't think we even know his role there, to be honest. We know he's assistant DA. We have no idea if it's like a progressive DA. We have no idea what the case record is. We're speculating at this point because it's kind of like become a revenge thing, to be honest. And I think the difference to me is I feel about him the way I feel about Diamond dying of COVID. I think he fucked around so hard, and the shit he said was so malignant.
Mm-hmm.
I find it hard to be sympathetic to this dude, even though I know he's rebranding. This ain't got nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he got doxxed. I saw someone on our Twitter like use the hashtag and be like, he did not get doxxed. They just said where his job is. I was like, nigga, they put the phone number, his full name. There was a flyer about going down to his job to protest. Like, and we fucking guarantee you, if it was somebody we did sympathize with, we'd say they got doxxed. Like, if it was like, this black woman said such and such, and they put out her job, where she works, and that, we'd be like, they doxed her. But because it's him, we try to change the definitions. It's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons that, like I said, I find a lot of the internet grandstanding shit to be bullshit, because it's literally just how much do I like or not like a person, and then we rearrange the rules to be like, oh no, it's only doxing if you like put their house out there. So it's like, no, the first examples of doxing from Gamergate were people's jobs. Mm-hmm. It was, let's call and harass the people that Anita Sarkeesian works for. It wasn't it was before we even got escalated to the other shit. Anyway, the point being, I don't really care that he got doxxed. It's just interesting that the people who swear that like Elon Musk needs to stop people from doing this, yeah, when it's somebody we fuck with, he needs to stop.
Correct.
And everybody feels that way about they people. Nobody feels that way.
Nobody's going to be like, don't ever dox anybody, period. Nobody wants to hear that rule, because like that would solve the problem, but they don't want to do that.
Yeah. And the way I see it is like, you do have power within this system. I don't have any proof that you've abused your power, and maybe it'll come out now if you have been, but there doesn't seem to be any level of like reports of people being like, yeah, he was extremely hard on dark skinned black women, which would be, don't even get me into how the fuck we gonna test that theory. You know what I mean? We're gonna pull out the paper bag again. But the point being, like, you were in a situation where you affected people's public lives, and the public should not have faith or trust in you at this point.
And they
If this
should
was
not. Mhm.
some white person saying this kind of shit online about black people,
Right. The
and they
expectations
were
would
a
be completely
cop or a
different.
judge or whatever, we wouldn't even be having a debate about it. Not on
Mm-mm.
our side. We'd be like, oh yeah, you got to go. You can't be in charge of nothing. Matter of fact, we need to look at everything you've done and
Yeah, and
make sure
I
you
feel like
haven't
me
been
too. It was on the
living
up
your
and
past.
up.
Yep. So that's how I feel about it. I don't have sympathy for him. I don't think people are even overreacting with the like, he had a position. Like, nigga, he did.
Right.
So that's how I feel. Um, all right. Appia says, thanks, I can see that, but the reason would be someone wants more profit, not that white people also use it. They will also be unhappy with a worse formula thing. Oh, this reply was to MDR. Oh yeah. So yeah, because that was the thing and I get what your logic. Appia saying, why would they change the formula if the reason white people are using it is because the formula is working for their hair?
Agreed.
And that is a great point. And I don't think anyone's going to have a logical example or a logical reason for that. It's really going to be more vibes, in
Hmm.
that the creator would basically need to be anti-black enough and profit motivated enough to be like, I want to make it exclusively designed for white women, or like, I want to reach the curly hair white woman market and fuck the black people. And there's never going to be any way they can prove that that person is thinking that.
Yeah, they
You,
already scared. They like, we're gonna get kicked out. Yeah, everybody
yeah,
panics.
I think it's just insecurity.
Hmm.
Um, we also had comments on YouTube. Let's see. Wangangi says induction cooktops are great unless you don't have various cookware. And I thought they were giving $840 for new stoves. Okay, I don't know.
Hmm.
And my mom says the mouse voice was hilarious. Laughing emoji. Thanks, mom. Uh, and the poll is the Karen's Diner waiter. Remember that waiter?
Hmm.
All in good fun or went too far? 73% say all in good fun. 27% say went too far when she grabbed that onion ring. And I went to 72%. I honestly did not find it to be egregious, but that's just me. I'm a very patient, tolerant person. The poll on Spotify, 80% all good fun. 21% went too far. So even less people thought she went too far. Yeah, and it felt very much like that Twitter posturing shit. Like it felt a lot like when you watch a black person like not react to something racist, and then the rest of us spend all day talking about how we would have like died to prove that we were the blackest person on the earth. It's like, oh, you let that white woman touch your hair? I would have chopped off both her hands.
And her feet.
I would have kidnapped her children in front of her. Okay,
And
like
roasted her on the open flame.
I would have killed every white person that even watched the video until the police came and arrested me. I would have went to death row and died because you don't touch my hair. And it's like, okay, well, at some point you the crazy one, right? Like,
Right? You have taken this to the extreme. What is wrong with you? We gotta
yeah.
begin to question you now.
So I feel like that's what happened. Was unfortunately in the online, it turned into only the people that said shit like that were getting retweeted and viral. But there's
Right.
probably a silent majority of people that are like, oh, that was funny, that was cute. I can see
Right.
how that went.
Because you go in there knowing that this is what you're gonna get. So I completely understand that. If that's the case, just don't go.
Yes, that's what I kept thinking. It's the people voting in the poll. There's a contingent of people that are like, I would never even go in a place like that. Also, if you grab my fries, it's like, well, okay, you're right. If you're not the one to go in there,
Out
then
here, folk cotton.
so let's pretend that you didn't get brought in by gunpoint. But I didn't have time to write all that in the fucking poll, but
that
it
was the
should have been
choice.
it really should have been 100%. Like, then don't go in there. But yeah, so the comment was to protect and serve the community.
The
Um,
community.
Katie says, "Holy shit! The Leviton commercial segue was smoother than the transition from slavery to the industrial prison system." Thank you. Third time's a charm, and I think that's the last read we have for them. So there you go. Raphael says, "Nah, that cop story was too good. I had to go watch it on YouTube. When is the Netflix documentary coming? The ex cop is ready for OnlyFans with a great backstory. Might want to let her hubby know first. Wow,
Right.
he a Hall of
That sounds
Famer.
like a good Lifetime story.
He in the husband Hall of Fame for that. I'ma stick with her. He
MVP husband Hall of Fame.
he believe in sickness and health and all that shit. Cause man, woo, that's testing the limits, man. The whole
You
precinct.
heard music. It don't matter if you was a prostitute and you hit up
Yeah,
every man that you
that you
ever
ever knew.
knew.
Yeah.
Come on, as long as it's me and you.
Listen, he really did that. He must play Me and You Against the World on repeat.
On repeat.
Neil says these cops were giving out them back shots. Mm-hmm. Uh, oh heavens, Kevin says couldn't wait to see why the episode was titled this, and boy, what a payoff that was. These cops are for the streets, y'all.
Apparently so.
Yeah. We almost could have named this episode. Uh, uh, Oh no, we did name it. Cut the police. Yes, that was right. And Ernest says, "Hey Siri, play Mr. Officer by Lil Wayne." Hopefully my phone didn't hear that.
Wee. I remember that song.
James says more like pro fuck and swirl the community. Community coming soon on the latest episode of blackpatrol.com.
Oh no.
Not the Black Patrol. See, that's one of the ones. Somebody gonna sign up for Pornhub. They license gonna be on there. It's gonna get hacked, and then we're gonna find out that some celebrity from Louisiana watches Black Patrol videos, and we're gonna be like, "What's Black Patrol?" You're gonna Google Black Patrol. You're gonna be like, "I don't care that you a civil rights icon. You are a terrible person."
And there is a whole genre of that. Yes, it is.
Because we do shame. We
Yes,
say we don't
do.
shame. People shame whatever they think. They shame whatever's public. I'm not even gonna say they shame what they not into, because I got a feeling that people shame shit they're into too, and they be
Yes,
like,
they
"No, because
do.
that's gross and terrible." Well, how
Yeah,
do you
because
know about
Pornhub lies on you. We go over them numbers like whatever.
it? Yeah, that's gross and terrible. We do that fucking report every year, and it'd be like gross and terrible be at the top every time. So like, no, I mean, we all agree that incest porn is weird, right? Apparently it's number one. So what the fuck?
Apparently, it's number one. It
Y'all
floods
let me
all the
know.
sites.
Somebody watching it. So
Mhm.
y'all, and they keep making it. So, and it's
And they
getting
keep.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You keep watching Game of Thrones. I'm just saying. All right. Episode 2661 was Feminims. Apia says, I can imagine what that the Chinese people do the most now and visit everyone after such a long lockdown, and they don't know if there will be a new lockdown soon. That's also why the numbers are exploding. Yeah, that's a good point, because if I was on a lockdown for 3 years, I had no choice, no control over my life,
And then I could
and
go
then you
somewhere.
said you can do whatever the fuck you want, I probably would be super wilding out.
That's why other places like, nope, let's test you. No, you ain't just walking over here.
Because you do feel the pressure. You do feel like, because you lived under a lockdown that was unwilling, so you do feel like they can hit the switch and make us go back.
Right. At
So
any
it's extra
time.
pressure to be like, I want to do every fucking thing that I said I want. I want to do it all now. I can't say, oh, I'll make that vacation in 6 months. They might lock us down in 6 months, and as the numbers go up, the panic will probably go up. That's a great point,
Mm-hmm.
Ivy. Eva E says, when I first heard that Diamond died, the first thing that popped out of my mind is the news clip of that old black lady in the wheelchair. Oh, hold on. Actually, I have this clip. Let me see if I can pull it up for you. If this thing don't freeze. Oh, great. Now to search that one. All right. Well, I guess I have to just fucking read it. But I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
That's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Three Guys on for introducing that to me. I'm supposed to be sorry for that bitch. I don't.
Right. Um, but yeah, I absolutely feel you. I think, once again, it's like the Waymo thing. And I'm a natural fucking empath. I had to learn boundaries to cut these feelings off within myself and to not really succumb to them because I am the kind of person that will be like, when I look at like Diamond and Silk, obviously they're clowns
Of
and
course.
caricatures, but underneath all that shit, they're two black women from like North Carolina or the South.
Mhm.
I know black women like that. I grew up around them, raised by them. I have a level of empathy. They would never do no bullshit like this, keep in mind.
Mm-mm.
But just even seeing their face, I have a
Right.
level of like connection. Even hearing the way they talk, it's just you're hearing the way they talk, but they're talking for some bullshit that you would never believe, But
Agreed.
I know plenty of people that talk like that, grew up around that. So there's something inside of me that, wants them to be better people or root for them or whatever, but I obviously can't. You know what I mean? And so I think that's where all this stuff comes from. So yeah, I had to learn to be like, yo, they fucked around and found out. They wanted, on some level, they thought this shit was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not up to me to fucking yeah, it's not up to me to help them out. And I found a clip.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
And then on another level, uh they dead. Ain't nothing. How I feel about it don't matter.
Mm-mm.
Like I always find it funny when people line up to get roasted online by putting sympathy out there for somebody that's real fucked up. Like guys, because I'm like, like I love Ava DuVernay. She's one of my favorite people. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Really dope. And I didn't hop on this pile on because I thought it was actually fucking stupid.
Right.
But when she said like, my parents raised me not to raised me better than to wish death on Donald Trump, and people were like jumping in her mentions, and I wanted to be like, all of y'all stupid, because whether you want them to die or you don't want them to die, your want got nothing to do with the fucking virus. The
Right.
virus, there are millions of people dead because it didn't matter whether you wanted or prayed or not. It just does what it does because it's a fucking virus, dog. So expressing, empathy or contempt is the same amount of energy. Zero. No offense. And I don't like I said, I don't knock people for it's a feeling of helplessness, and then feeling like you can pray or think or whatever is, it means something to you.
Right.
And sometimes when you tell people like you're in my thoughts and stuff, it's real. It's not some bullshit. I really am thinking about you.
Correct.
But we can't be like thoughts and prayers mean nothing after a mass shooting, and then be like, but then with Diamond, we're like, but y'all better not pray for her. Like, nigga, it don't matter. They weigh the same thing, zero. Anyway, she says, I'm a big believer in keeping the same energy for someone when they die. Why would I respect someone to death whom I had no respect for in life? Some good did come of this though. The tired wig will finally be put to rest. Rest in peace, Diamond.
R.I.P.
You think they're gonna put the wig on in the casket?
You know they will.
I wonder if, like, it'll be a who's who at the. I bet no. Donald Trump's not coming to that funeral, is he? No.
You know he not. Mm-mm.
Sean says,
He wouldn't even acknowledge it.
I don't know what would be funnier if Trump didn't acknowledge her, or if he like buried her next to like Ivanka Trump or whatever.
Out there on the golf course. over there by the third hole.
I don't know what would
So
be
he can
better.
save tax and pay his money on her too, so he don't have to pay property taxes.
I honestly, God, I do not know what would be funnier, better, worse, whatever. However you want to quantify. I don't even know what would make me laugh more as if he's if he married her next on that fucking golf course, man. Oh, Sean says
She out there on the 10th hole.
Sean says, I listened to another podcast as a tradition of giving a F eulogy. That's hilarious to people who shouldn't be honored in death. I think it's a lovely way to send out people like Diamond. Yeah, F eulogy is hilarious.
That's funny.
Oh man. And then comments on this episode on YouTube. Let's see if we got any. Oh, we got two. Amy says, "Oh, diamond emoji, sparkly. See, she couldn't turn off her empathy. She feel bad. It does feel like a life wasted." Uh,
Right?
Judy, wait, my mom says, "Oh my God, the Eminem bit got me on the floor." My man, Eminem, the action Eminem. Uh, she got laughing emoji. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mom. The poll is: would you fly Southwest now? Yes or no? 42% say yes. 58% say no.
Yeah,
The people
because
with money,
oh, go ahead. The people money, what they have to say.
Spotify, same percentage. Only 1% different. So same percentage basically.
Oh, I think for when it comes to Southwest, you have people that have never had a problem with Southwest. They enjoy flying Southwest. And the thing is, Southwest gets you to your destinations, in a lot of situations quicker because, like I said, they don't reroute to the hubs. And so for a lot of people, they was like, it's easier to get straight flights, and I
And
don't have
it costs less.
yes. And the thing about Southwest actually goes to a lot of smaller cities that some of these larger airports don't go to because everything's running out of them hubs. So sometimes if you want to get to like certain places out of the middle of Timbuktu nowhere, it's Southwest, so you basically can't get out there. So that's kind of one good thing about Southwest that that people really don't consider, because for a lot of places, Southwest basically is the only airport that actually flies out of some of these areas.
They are also, I will bring this up on another episode, possibly, but they also have everything on sale right now. And I've seen people talk about how they've been reimbursed for that debacle.
Mhm.
And some of the stuff that they're getting is crazy. Like they're just like, yeah, they gave me this free flight. They reimbursed all my hotel stay. They did so like they're really on top of this as a public relations thing to
Right,
get.
because they realized that they took a hit, and they realized that because they've been around for a long time, so they have a lot of loyal customers that are like, I fuck with y'all hard, and I don't feel appreciated, by this. And
Mhm.
so it's one of those things where they've been kind of known for certain things, how they treat their customers, how they treat their staff and their crew and all that stuff. So, it's one of those things where they're going to have to clean face. And that's one way to clean face, is to do the right thing, which would be to reimburse for things and give people their money back and all that stuff. Because a lot of people, you basically killed their Christmas plans. So some people basically, they got to the airport, got stuck, and had to turn right back around to go back home because their whole break was in an airport.
I like that phrase, clean face. I've never heard that before. Um, but yeah, I'm with you. And I think
Mhm.
that's how you do it if you're gonna do it. So I get why people are flying them, because once I heard those stories of like the stuff people got, I was like, shit, I would have thought about it. like like like
I'd
if,
considered
if
it
they would have
hard.
fucked up my holiday, but then they would have hit me with all this motherfucking like back pay, I would have been like, shit, oh, I'll hop on the next one then.
Hmm.
Um, Diamond is with Herman Cain now. Rest in power.
Oh,
Rest in power, Quoon. Um, that was the comment that I
that's hilarious.
maybe I'll make that the title of this episode. Rest in power, Quoon. Um,
Rest in power, Coon.
uh, Quoon,
Hilarious.
not Coon, Quoon, Quoon, Quoon. You know how to say rest in power, Queen. Anyway,
Oh,
Solomon says, wasn't that a Cat Williams bit about we getting stronger every 2 weeks? Yes, that was a long time ago too. Ernest says, what's that they say about the wages of sin? Death. But you know what's funny? Everybody gonna die. So like I guess everybody getting paid in the minimum sin wage. Uh, Nelson says a grift is a grift till the grift ends you. Yes, you got prestige out of this bitch.
come on.
Raphael says, last time I flew Southwest was on a free ticket pandemic. I still got them principles intact, so I'll fly for free again. Roger says, Hunty, I hope whoever do the body get rid of the synthetic wig.
Come
And
Y'all know
lastly,
us. We'll be asking who did the body. Because that
Bokai
matters to
said,
black people who did the bodies.
Bokai says, may they shuck and jive in peace. Yes.
But they two-step in peace.
May you shuck and jive from the great beyond. Okay. We love
May
to
you
see it.
tap dance in peace.
All right, let's get to the voicemails. All right. We got one voicemail, 704-557-0186 is the voicemail line. Let's see who's chapping in with us today.
Rod and Carrot think that they're cute and think that they're funny. And they're absolutely right on both counts. This message brought to you by 1 Million Tipping Americans, PAC. Shout out to the chat room.
That's
Aw.
fucking hilarious.
That's the most adorable attack ad of all time. We
I
got
like that attack ad.
Stacey Abrams should have hired y'all. Shit. All right, that's the only voicemail we got, but it was worth it. And that was better than most attack ads. It was Rod and Karen are part of the Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden woke mob, trying to turn your kids and make them say they gay. All right, here's the comments the emails that we got. Sean writes in called sorry for the late response. I was listening to the viral load episode and had the idea that you may need a 6-panel comic of the encounter. Unfortunately, I've been a little busy, so I just put it together. I just finished putting it together and I just missed the feedback episode. Sorry for the taking so long. Notes. The note submitted by Viral Low is in cursive just to make him that much more evil. The teacher is wearing a blackout tip shirt just to ensure that we know she is a hero from the get-go. The teacher is using a metric ruler because she teaches science, which even in America uses the metric system. Sorry, it's not 100% perfect, but feel free to use it any way you deem. And so I'm going to show y'all the cartoon that they made by sharing my screen. And maybe we'll make it like the show art or something like that. But it says the teacher versus viral load. That's the note in cursive. I can't read it I probably have to zoom way in. It says someone throws Ebola. You know the thing that Batman throws that wraps around your legs. And he said, Viral Load says, nice bowler. Now try my Ebola. And then he throws the Ebola vial on the teacher, who does have a nice blackout tip shirt here. And she says, I teach 10 classes with 50 video, I guess, videos a day, 2 a day. Today.
Yeah, 50 widows
okay.
a day.
Yeah. I've had every disease. You think Ebola gonna stop me? And then he got slapped upside the head with a metric ruler. It's so stupid, but it's so good. Oh,
that's
man.
fucking hilarious.
That is the exact type of stupid shit that we do here.
Yes,
And,
that's the exact thing that would get our comic canceled, but that shit would be fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna download this, and I don't know where we'll figure something. We'll post it on our social medias at least, at minimum.
Yes, if it can't fit on the little thing, yeah, because it might be too big.
Yeah, it's probably too big to fit for like a show thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll find a way. I'll find a way to work it in. Aaron says, hello, Karen and Rod. I'm a gay man and use Bumble a lot. For the straights, the woman gets to respond first. For the same-sex matches, the rule goes away and either person can match with the other. If no one responds in 24 hours, the match goes away. Okay. There's Bumble BFF where you are supposed to go make friends. A lot of my girlfriends have been successful and made some good friends with it. I believe with friends, it may be similar where either person can match and both people can reach out first. There's also Bumble Biz where people are supposed to match and network career-wise, but I think if you're going to Bumble for career aspects, you won't be that successful. Aaron. Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you. I didn't know.
And Karen, do we have any mail or anything like that?
No, I checked the mail this morning. No, I didn't. We didn't get anything today.
Sounds good to me. And that's a wrap on this episode of Feedback for the Blackout Tips. Uh, Hopefully by this time tomorrow we'll be hanging out together. And
Yay!
I
Looking
can't wait to see
forward
you.
to it. I'm gonna finish
Yeah.
packing and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm getting a bunch of shit delivered today, and thankfully nobody rang the bell during the middle of the show. I was worried about that. But the thing is, there's a couple things. One, we are boring. We're not really planning on
Oh
doing
yeah,
anything.
we're very boring.
And unfortunately, because I'm working and I don't have like office hours, it won't be like a straight up vacation for Karen like last time. Last time I was off for a week, Karen was gonna be here for a week, and I was just planning and doing shit every day, meeting up with people. This time it'll probably just be more like low key. Maybe we'll do a couple things on our own, but probably not that much. But because we are doing something with Keith and the girl, we will have podcasting equipment here, unlike last time.
Right,
Like last time, we didn't have I just had what the setup for me, but not for Karen.
right.
So it is possible. I'm not saying likely, but it is possible.
Possible we can still
You might be
record.
able to do some in
Y'all
person.
might get shows live from New York.
Yeah, so you might get some podcasts next week, depending on how we can set things up in here. And if so, we'll both be in this little space, pretending it's a bigger space, recording the show. So
Yep.
y'all might
Him
y'all
in
might
one
get a
direction
couple
and
of
I'm
them.
another direction.
Yeah. So all right, y'all. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all the feedback. And that's it. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Bye, everybody. Bye, baby. Enjoy the game.
Yes.